Here's a story that kind of came out years ago, and as trials work in my country, in America, it can take several years to possible decades to actually get resolution for a trial. Sometimes people opt for the quickest solution, and others try to postpone trials because they know. And this individual probably knew what was going to happen to them. So they postponed the trial for about 2 years, I believe, or maybe the justice system did that, but either way, that is what happened. This is a plea deal, by the way, so it could have been severely worse, but there is an individual who is above the age of 18 now who is going to be spending 40 years in prison because they killed a person over a PlayStation 4. So essentially the long and the short of it was that there were two individuals that decided to, try and get a PlayStation 4 from a person. Person tried to sell it on Craigslist. They met in a parking lot of an apartment complex, and one guy tried to steal the PlayStation 4 without paying for it, and the other guy struggled, tried to take it back, and then this teenager here shot her boyfriend through the hand and shot the guy. Now again, that's not something that you want to do. A couple YouTubers have covered this story already, but I did want to talk about it and give my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. It's fine. Essentially, you have an 18-year-old woman who is now going to spend 40 years in prison. She is going to be 58 fucking years old by the time she gets out. If she's lucky, if she makes it out of prison. So before I discuss all that, let's talk about what she had to say. She went on to say and prepared a statement talking to the judge. She stated, "I would trade anything, almost anything, to bring Daniel back, but I know I can't." And she said that through tears. "I know he had plans. I wish I could tell him I'm so sorry that this happened, but I can't." Now, I have absolutely no sympathy for this woman. There is a difference between sympathy and, man, you got fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel bad that she murdered someone and she's going to prison for 40 years. I feel bad that she's not locked up for the rest of her life. Because I feel like if you murder someone in cold blood, you're not defending your country, it's not self-defense, you're murdering them in cold blood, or over something so trivial as the goddamn PS4, you should be locked up for the rest of your life. I don't care what it is. I understand how people are going to be saying like, "Oh my God, Proto, what if it went wrong? What if you were being framed?" Like, listen, man. Listen, I'm not saying to execute the person, okay? Not a life for a life here, but a life for a life in prison. I think that's an equal trade, yeah. 40 years, 20 years is considered a lifetime in prison, if you guys didn't know that, in terminologies and kind of slang on streets and whatnot. 20 years, so she's serving 2 life sentences, quote unquote. Again, it's kind of hard talking about life because, you think of a lifetime being 60, 80, 100 years old, and she's only serving 40 years. But 20 years is quite crazy, even 10 years. You think about how life was 10 years ago versus today, okay? So you had the Razor flip phones. I mean, my God, internet speeds were slow as fuck. You had computers that were like from Dell, the Dell Towers still. Those were very popular designs. The iMacs were just coming about. Technology was very small. You didn't have the economic crisis that we have today. The housing market didn't bottom out. Things were severely different. And take that back 10 years. What if this individual had to serve a 20-year sentence from 1996 to 2016? I mean, my lord, man, the PlayStation was just coming out. Technology was progressing ridiculously. I remember meeting someone and working with someone who had been in jail for 10 years, and they said to me, like, they didn't understand how urinals work, automatic urinals, flushing. They didn't understand a lot of the automated systems that had been put in place. It was a very strange world for them when they got out. And it was difficult for them to get by in the world because things had changed so much and they had such a short time to adapt to the change. So this individual probably, if they ever do get out of jail, I mean, you can only imagine being 56 years old, getting out of prison, and would your parents even be alive? I mean, they would have to be, around in their 70s, at least, at the very minimum, like late 60s, and that's if they survive that long to actually make it to that age. And it's insane to think that you would literally have no one taking care of you. I mean, she was 16. If she didn't have a child or anything, there's no daughter, there's no mother or father. The best thing that you would be able to hope for is a sister or a brother who took sympathy on you. And how long would they visit you in prison? Would they be there for the 40 years? I know a guy who went to prison for several years because he tried to rob a person of guns, stole a car. Okay? And nobody visited him. Not his brothers, not his parents. Barely, ever. And that was just a few years. You think about 40 years. My God. I could not imagine. Even getting out early on good behavior. How many years would you be able to shave off, really? So what's going to happen is this girl is going to probably get into prison. She's going to become someone's bitch because that's how prison works. She's going to get in there, first day. She's going to either have to, figure the fuck out real quick how to live in prison, live the prison life, or she's going to have to go into solitary confinement. Because people are going to come up and run up on her, and they're going to take her flip-flops, they're going to take her clothes, and they're going to leave her with fucking used flip-flops and used clothes. She's going to be someone's bitch. When they want her to do something, she's going to have to do it. Otherwise, she's going to have to fight them off, and she's going to get teeth knocked in. She's going to get shanked and shit like that if she disobeys. They're going to take her food at lunch and shit like that, and that's how the prison system works in America. Female or male. You can say, oh, males are worse. You can say whatever you want, but it just happens, man. I've spoke to many people who have been in prison, and it is not a good time at all. It's a very, very hardcore thug hierarchy system. That's not to say that many prisoners aren't good people and don't mend their ways and change the way they live, but some of them, they get in prison and that's their life. They never leave prison. They go in there, they kill someone, they get associated in a game, they start beating the shit out of people, killing people, and they just get years added over and over and over again. So the best thing I can suggest to this individual, if they ever see this video, or if anyone else sees this video and they end up going to prison, if you're not cut out for the prison life, if you're not interested in fighting, beating the shit out of people, shanking people, killing people, I suggest you go into solitary confinement, because that's literally the only thing you can do. Now, I want you to imagine something. You might say to yourself, oh, that's shitty, Proto. They get out of the 40 years of prison. They get out of the prison rapes. They get out of the shower rapes. They get out of getting shanked and the shit beat out of them. That's shitty. They deserve that for what they did. And they get out of it by doing solitary? Huh. Oh, but solitary is even worse, ladies and gentlemen, because you go crazy without social interaction. The human mind and body needs social interaction. When you're in solitary confinement, when you fear for your life, you can only do it for so long before you lose your fucking mind. Imagine 40 years of solitary confinement. They bring you your food, and you get 1 hour of rec activity a day, and you get to go shower. And that's it. There's no interactivity with anyone else. You get to hear people howling at night, banging on shit at night. You get to hear the violence, and that's your only interaction. So, this girl, she is getting exactly what she deserves. If she doesn't get the shit beat out of her, shit kicked out of her, if she doesn't become a part of the prison system, then she'll be stuck in solitary confinement, losing her mind. So, I guess I would say, personally, I'm content with that for a murderer. However, some other people might feel that she deserves much worse. She deserves a death sentence. I'm sure the 18-year-old's mother and father are happy that she's not getting the death sentence, but, who's to say what is just and what's not? This is just my opinion. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you think justice was served? Leave your comments in the section below, and I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. And I know I'm probably going to be a bit late on the story, but, I'm trying to move this week, so I'm trying to build up a few news stories to put out, so please forgive me. Thanks for watching, and as always, good gaming and God bless.